Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everyone, we're taking a little break for the holidays and to give us some much needed rest. So please enjoy one of our favorite episodes, and we'll have new episodes coming in January.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. Today, in our quest to get all of the Try Guys, we got Zach here.
You gotta catch them all.
And you're wearing Try Guys merch.
I am. You know, I didn't realize this was going to be videotaped, so I'm like, oh, cool. I'm running out the house. Let's throw on a quick hoodie.
No,
but the good
you're
thing,
repping.
I'm repping. The good thing about having merch is that your lazy outfits seem like a choice. Mm-hmm. I'm advertising.
Yeah, and it's like revenue. Like you're like,
Absolutely.
my laziness and not figuring out what to wear is going to hopefully make me money.
A quest to be a walking billboard.
Exactly. So if you guys are not watching it, watch so you can see the merch. You guys have great merch.
Thanks.
It took me like an embarrassing long time to figure it out. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the dumbest thing possible. It was a commentary on how all YouTubers have like the dumbest
Fandoms?
call to action of like, what is it? Who dabs on the haters and all that shit?
Let's just stop talking
who
about
cares?
them.
Yeah, we won't
Those
start there.
fuck faces.
So we started with Horn the Homies, where just a joke, but we're the Try Guys. So the Triceratops. So we got a little dinosaur.
But it's in your colors too.
Yeah.
That's like the one where I was like, my friend was like, yeah, and I love that it's in their colors. And I was like, yeah, me too. I totally got that this whole time.
Part of it is I just like, we used to have some shirts that said like try in big letters, and I can't wear that. It's too like
try hard.
And it's like so horrifying. Like if I'm out in public, I'm just like, hey, look at me. I'm me.
Yeah.
I'm me. And
it's confirming it is in fact me.
It just feels too full of myself. So I'm like, let's do a cute logo.
Yeah.
And I would rather wear that. And I think people would rather wear that.
I think it's like more fun. At least me as like a fan like of things. Like I'm more likely to wear merch where it's like I don't want not that I'm like embarrassed to be fans of people. But like I don't want to like walk around with someone's face on like a shirt. So when I see people who do that, unless it's like JoJo Siwa, like
I'll wear her face.
I want a fucking JoJo Siwa shirt.
JoJo,
so
if you're listening,
bad.
please send us some
Dude,
shirts.
Dude, sold out. Her shit is sold out everywhere.
It's unbelievable. She's in I think she's in Kohl's as well.
Yeah, no, I think she is. She's like absolutely crushing. Did you see Justin Bieber and
yeah, of course. It's
Did
great.
you see the Justin Bieber issue? Oh my God, Melissa. Hi, let's introduce you.
Hi.
This telling you about JoJo Siwa and Justin Bieber.
JoJo had the most obscene over bubblegum car with her face on it. And like
yes.
it
No,
was
I
like
did
Lisa
see this,
Frank
yes.
vomited and shat on the same time and decoed a car with it.
Yes.
And did Biebs tell her to burn it?
No, it was. Why do I know that it's West Coast Customs who did the car? I just know.
You looked into getting it. You're like, are they selling more of these?
Is this more? Can I get this wrapped? So they posted on their Instagram, and he commented on that and said, "Burn it." And then she's made it into this whole thing of like, burn it is like her new like slogan.
Oh, God damn it.
I know. And then he apologized.
She's a savvy kid.
Dude, it's crazy. Okay, guys, this is Don't Blame Me. It's an advice podcast where you guys call in, you leave us voicemails and tell us what's happening in your life, and then we try and help you as best we can.
Did you emphasize try because I'm here?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, maybe
I appreciate it.
subconsciously.
Thanks.
It's like when Gabby and Allison were here separately, and I realized that I kept doing I kept singing their like international question, and I was like stealing it and using it for our thing, and they both were like, by the way, you know you do that, and I was like, wow, I do. It's my bad. I just love them. And so the phone number for that is 310-694-0976. Holy shit, I remember.
Wow, that was huge.
Yeah, we went a little bit of a little long break, right? A little long break.
A little long.
It's been a month.
It has been a
Welcome
month.
back.
Thanks so much, and welcome you.
Yeah,
welcome
I'm glad to be here. To prepare for this, I listened to a little bit of Ned's podcast, and then every time he talked, I muted it to think what I would say so that I could be better than him.
Yeah,
so that's my really only goal here today. If you listen to Ned's podcast, this one's going to be better.
I also censored. Well, I don't read all the. I will go through and pick questions that I like. Just in general, and I don't necessarily know which. Sometimes it'll be specific for a guest, but I'll usually read not even the summary, but the subject of them. I vetted yours a lot less than I vetted his.
Dope.
Well, because he's
a little more. He's a little cleaner.
And has
a human larva,
like a baby thing.
Flesh sack that's going to grow into a college student someday.
I just felt like I was very,
because our questions get really extreme,
super sexual sometimes.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm into it.
I just kept picturing Ned talking about his wife and all this stuff, and then being poised with this very gross sex question. I was like, I can't do it.
I'm definitely grosser than him. I think left to his own devices, he would become the best version of. He'd become the best version of Kevin James, clean comedy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That
Whereas,
makes sense.
I take my pants off as whenever I can on camera, and
it's always the goal.
Okay.
I had another segue about taking pants off, but it doesn't matter. We're moving on to the actual podcast. Oh, guys, yes, and international callers, don't worry, we didn't forget about you. You can email us an audio file at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. And we can give you advice too, because we know you have problems, not just in the U.S. Okay, we're starting now.
Let's do it.
Let's begin.
Hi, Megan. I had called in before, but I was extremely drunk, and I don't remember what I said, so I'm going to try this again. I'm 25 years old. I've been with my boyfriend for about 2.5 years. He just moved in this past summer. My boyfriend's actually 31 years old, and he's working part-time at a children's hospital. Every time I say that, everyone's like, well, you're dating a doctor. Nope, not quite. So he is a patient transfer person, I guess. He transfers patients to appointments, or if they have surgery, or whatever the case is. And he spends the other part of his time developing and animating a video game with his friend. The development of this video game has been slow as ever, and I feel like I'm starting to get impatient. He makes no money off of this video game yet. He keeps telling me that, someday maybe kind of thing, or I say someday maybe, but he seems to be convinced that it definitely will be profitable at some point. Currently, I work a better job, and it's full-time. So that just means that I bring home more money than he does. He does kind of come off a little bit intimidated by that. I don't know if it's just kind of male ego thing or age difference. He seems to think he should have his shit together more being 31 versus me who's 25. But when I tell him, it's because I'm working full-time and you're only working part-time, you could make just as much money, working full-time. He gets mad because he knows that I hate waiting for this game to take off. I want him to be more financially stable too, or at least be at the same level that I'm at, but I'm starting to kind of feel like maybe that's a shallow thought. I don't really know how to handle, I guess, this situation. I also want to emphasize that I have no idea about video games. I've never played a video game. I don't really know how long they take to make or anything like that. So I don't want to be unreasonable either. I know I'm completely ignorant when it comes to it, but I also want to be with someone who's financially stable. I want to actually have a future with him, and it's hard to picture that when I know he's not at that point yet. Because he is kind of a little bit older than me, I also don't want to be waiting forever either. Any advice on the, situation, and even how to handle a guy who maybe feels a little bit more intimidated, making less money than his girlfriend, or being even less successful to some degree than his girlfriend, at least when it comes to financial. I would greatly appreciate it.
Oof. A lot to unpackage there. At first I was like, oh, this is an art question. I can answer how to be better at your craft, but there's so much more at play.
Yeah. I think to start, And I mean, you're the only boy here, so you're
I'm
automatically
going to be leaned on heavily.
We're going to be outnumbered in this thing because we're all probably going to agree on it. I don't think, like, it's not your job to make him comfortable. Not that you're going to feel this way, but like, it's not your job to make him feel more comfortable with you making more money. Like,
no, not at all.
And
I have a huge problem with like anyone that thinks that that dynamic can't exist healthily. Like, that's so stupid. But it sounds like part of the problem is that she wants him to make more money, and
which I also think is like instilled in women in general, that like you're like, I don't necessarily think that like I won't say it's selfish. I wonder though, I get questions that I have automatically. If like moving in together, I think like someone else's financial, I think a drive is more important than like income.
Yes.
And someone's like what they like, having like a passion and a drive towards something and like really wanting to do something and really caring about it. It's like marrying like a teacher. Like teachers don't make a ton of money,
but they're dedicated.
Like, and they really love that.
What would bother me more is my partner seeming like my partner doesn't care or isn't motivated.
Yeah.
I have so many like first of alls that I want to address on this one.
Start.
Because my first of all is that there's absolutely no shame in working at a hospital and not being a doctor. I think that's like, my girlfriend's a nurse. I know a lot of people that have miscellaneous jobs around the hospital, and they are all valid and awesome. I don't know what this specific job is.
Yeah,
and
just driving patients.
It's just like
maybe
if they're at one facility and they need to go to another facility, he transfers them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But
okay.
I mean, that's like that's not like like that job in itself has meaning.
Sure.
And like comes from like a good place. It's not like his part-time job is working at Best Buy. You know, it's like I automatically think that like having a part-time job in a place where it's not really like like filler jobs or like places where people it's the turnover is like so incredibly fast. Like it's all high schoolers who work there over the summer. Like working at a children's hospital, doing something where you're like interacting with like patients on like a pretty semi-regular basis. Like to me, that seems like there could be like a longer, more full-time future in that. And also it's not really I don't know. To me, it's like not really like a temporary kind of job. Like it seems like
so hospital jobs actually are only a few days a week, and it's because the hours are so insane. So nurses typically only work at hospitals 3 days a week.
Oh, because they're on like crazy shifts.
Yeah, because they work 12-hour shifts.
But they're probably working full time. I think her problem is that he's working part-time
so that he can do this video game.
So he can do the video game.
All right, yeah, that's bogus, dude. You got to get a real job.
But what if the video game like
takes off? Well, okay.
And how stupid do you fucking feel if you broke up with your boyfriend and then the video game blew the fuck up?
But the thing is it going to take off if he's not working for a larger company as it is?
Independent games, independent anything, really hard, right? And I don't know about games particularly. What I do know about any sort of art, and this is like, you have to do things a lot and go through the whole process to get good. Working on one project and trying your best to perfect it is going to keep you at one level, and you will never grow. So I know that he's not calling, but if he were to ask advice on his video game, I would say, fuck that game. Yeah. Make 20 games in the next year as quickly as you can. Go through the process. It's not about the home runs. It's about the at-bats. And that's how you close the gap between your skill and your taste. You have to go through the process again and again and again. So I'm guessing that this dude is working on one project and he's like, this is the one. It's going to break big. But who knows if he's even completed one game. Yeah. Like, your first any creative thing is never going to be good. You have to go through the process and learn to let go and move on. Yeah, you have to learn how to kill your darlings, that whole thing. Absolutely. I wonder how long he's been working on it. Because, like... Yeah, she wasn't specific. If it's, like, 6 months, I feel like... 6 months is okay. Yeah, but I feel like that's totally, like, I would assume it would take so much more than that. I'm guessing it's been like years. 5 years, I think it needs to get to a point. And also, like, I wonder, like... are they pitching it? Like, are they trying to sell it? Like, if it's just been in the development stage for like a really long time and they're trying to perfect it, and exactly like you're saying, like trying to get to this level. It's not going to happen. Yeah. I'm sorry to say, man. And if you're withholding, like trying to sell it because like you're waiting for it to be perfect, like that probably means you don't have a lot of confidence in it. Yeah. And so I think if it's not totally obvious, that was me. Like I a couple of years ago was working on like one project. I'm like, this is the one. And I made it and I realized it wasn't perfect. And I was just like working on frames. Like, okay, if I change this edit by a couple seconds, it'll work now. I'm like, no, it's like not till I started making content for the internet. And I like within a year made 65 things. And now all of a sudden I look back a year later and I'm so much better because you have to go through it.
But I think some things do... Like some things can take a really long time before you see like a great outcome. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not worth it. But like there have to be the steps in that. Like it has to be moving forward. It can't just be like if you're at the same stage and it's just two people, like him and whoever he's doing this with, if they're at the same stage and it's just them working on it and it's not moving forward with like other aspects besides just like developing it, then I'm like, then that needs to be something. Like, then I think in her eyes, like I think that is kind of cause for concern because it's just, I don't think there's anything wrong. I guess we should go to the financial aspect of it.
Right.
And I think she's probably right on that he feels uncomfortable and kind of like threatened by it. And I will say I have made more money than every guy I've ever dated, like ever. And I'm now at the point where if I was dating a guy who like had a lot more money than I did, I'd probably feel weird because I've been like used to that aspect. And I think like not even necessarily like feel weird. I just like, I also am somebody who I don't like other people paying for things. I don't feel comfortable with that. Like I don't like when people like, I feel uncomfortable if someone like would offer to pay for a ton of stuff. So I wonder, living together, are you covering his ass? Like, are you like paying for that stuff?
See, I might be reading the tea leaves too much here, but I have a feeling that the problem isn't that she makes more money.
Yeah.
It's really this crux of like, he's 31. Yeah. That's the age when you kind of are at this turning point where like, hey man, like dreams are great and I love them, I support them, but also you have a responsibility. And if she's trying to picture a future with this guy and he's not taking the steps to showcase that he's going to be providing and committed to like the health of their relationship. And so when you're at that age, like I think it's great to have a passion project, but first and foremost, you need to take care of the home front. You need to have it's responsibility.
Yeah, and she said if he worked full time, then they would be making the same amount of money.
Right, and then it's up to you. If you really care about this game, now in your free time, that's when you're going to be hustling and putting in extra time. But I don't think I'm quite okay with him being like, well, I'm going to do part-time because I'm working on this thing and it's going to take off, it's going to hit. Like at a certain point, you need to, I don't want to say grow up because that infers dropping the dream, but like realize that you have a responsibility and that you need to step up.
Yeah, and if this is his dream, then maybe he can get a job in that field.
Exactly what I was going to say.
And work on that during the day, and then at nighttime he can be working on this.
On his own. And getting a job in that field will help him hone and refine those skills.
Yeah. I think that's like you get to this point where you're like dream or whatever you're doing. Like I like am an unemployed actor who also does everything else that I do while I'm being an unemployed actor is still like performance and media film related. Like that's where like, with
and in
him,
doing so you're making your own opportunities.
And I'm also like learning more about things. Like I'm learning more about everything that I can do in one thing is going to help me in something else. And I think like that's kind of maybe she's picking up on the fact that like these are two totally separate part-time jobs that like it doesn't mesh to be like one driven dream of what they want, what he wants to do, which I think can be like a little alarming. But I'm also curious, like, does he know how to code? Like, does he know how to do anything else that would be like, I think like some people like, I have friends who they work to live. Like they have like desk jobs, like they're fine with it. They don't like love it, but like their weekends, they shut off. They don't have to do anything with work. They don't even think about it once they go home and they go on these trips and they do all that other stuff. Yeah. And then
I want to know too.
When you work in a creative field, it's like you like live to work. Like you love it and like you go to bed thinking about it and like not in it can be in a bad way or a good way, but like it consumes you in a different kind of way that you need to be like fulfilled and satisfied by it. And I think for him, he's probably more of that and like only wants to do something he really, really loves. But like there gets to be this point where if you can't do exactly what you want to do, which is like this video game and sell all of that, then what is the next best thing that's close
pivot.
to it?
Dreams, like this whole idea of like, what are you going to be when you grow up? Like what you decided when you were 10 years old.
Oh my God.
There are so many other versions of it.
Yeah, I'd
like,
be a Christmas elf at Macy's. That was my dream.
Wow. That's not where I thought this was going.
Still kind of my dream. I just love Christmas.
Well, you can still do that. I believe in you.
I could, maybe.
But maybe you can be...
Tall. Oh, I am too tall.
You are definitely too tall to be a Christmas elf. But that's why you pivot. And maybe you could be Mrs. Claus or a reindeer.
I'm gangly.
I sympathize with her because, like, it sucks to move in with someone and then now all of a sudden have all these questions. Mm-hmm. They say that, I don't know who they is, but I'm just going to pull a stat out of my ass and hope that it's real. So don't Google this. Just assume I'm telling the truth. But that couples who don't move in with each other until after they're engaged or married actually have a higher success rate than those who move in together to see how it is.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because if you move in and you're not committed, you're still playing this testing game.
Yeah.
You're still judging and you're kind of constantly auditioning for the role of partner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's
dark.
Like, yeah, sorry if I got too
Do you
real.
live with your girlfriend?
I do.
Cool. I live with my boyfriend too.
Yeah, and by the way, we're not engaged, so like
yeah,
I'm aware of that, but I didn't want to. We had an option to move in earlier because it was like, hey, leases are coming up, but I didn't want to rush into it. I wanted to make sure like this is a decision we're making, and it's a decision we're making because
you
we're
want
committed,
to, not because like convenience.
Yeah, I don't know what the end of the story is of like, hey girl, you fucked. But
yeah.
I get that that's such a tough and terrible place to be, where you moved in because you thought that this was the next stage, and now you're having these questions about his viability as a partner long term, and you don't want to be the person that goes like. You don't want to be shot as the messenger to go to him and be like, hey, you're 31, time to get a job, a real job. The one thing I will say is that you cannot, unfortunately, be the person that gives him a wake-up call, because you will only be caught in the crosshairs because of it.
But then if it gets to a point where you're not able to like move forward in the trajectory of your life that you want, and not that you want a guy who provides for you and makes so much more money than you want someone who you're like, well, if I'm going to be 50-50 with someone, I want someone who can make what I'm making, so then we could do this and do all this other stuff. But if you feel like you're having to carry so much more of like the financial weight of it and you don't want to, I think that's okay. It doesn't make you a shitty person. And if this relationship ends up not working out because of it, that's also fine. Like, I don't think it makes you a shitty person for wanting to be 50-50 with someone for a decent chunk of the time, because it's never always going to be 50-50. It's going to be like ebb and flow. But like, if it doesn't change, I don't think you need to feel guilty about not wanting to like stay in it, because like
or talk about it, give not an ultimatum, but address it. And I think we agree it's not really the money. Money is the tangible expression of it, but it's this feeling that you're working your ass off, you're working a job as a responsible adult to basically
he's complaining about
pay for him to do a thing that we don't know if it's going to pan out. It's just like a responsibility thing of pull your weight and put in as much effort as I am.
Yeah, because he's also complaining about like not.
He was complaining. You can't do that, dude.
Exactly. So I think,
you have him call in.
Yeah.
Do we ever take callers on this show and we can like just like be like, hey man, quit it?
But have a good talk with him about it, like a long talk that's not about. That's more about like what his plan is with everything.
You can't keep it in, right?
Yeah.
I think it's like if you just keep.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
This in, it's going to grow into resentment, and it's going to get so much worse, and it's going to come out in a way that you don't want it to, a la your drunken phone call previously. So I think you got to have an adult conversation about it. Also, by the way, contrary to my other point, Ned and his wife moved in after 4 months, and they're like the most married people ever, so fuck me, right?
That makes sense. 4 months? Yeah. I had to figure out how long it took before him and I
And then they got
together.
engaged within like a year.
Really?
Yeah, they moved fast.
Were they in stupid?
They were in Chicago.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done with this question. Let's move on to the next one.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. I'm 21 and me and my boyfriend have been together for 1.5 years. We recently moved in together. We're both at university. And so we moved into a 7-bed house and we got 2 rooms, so we'd have a room each for more space. Before we moved in together, I would see him about 2 or 3 times a week. I would go around to each other's houses, and when we were together, it felt like we would spend all of our time together, have more alone time. But now, since we moved in, it feels like we spend all of our time as a flat, and then even at the night, we could go off to our separate rooms. So it often feels like we're more roommates than we are boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. And it ends up that I kind of lost the romance and can often feel like I'm being friend-zoned, which I hate the phrase. Also in this house there is another girl and they've got quite close. I don't think that there's any romance between them. I would never think he would cheat on me. But their friendship, I'm getting jealous about their friendship. They spend quite a lot of time together and they seem to have quite similar interests. And ends up feeling like he spends more time with her than he does with me. I feel like I'm in second place. It doesn't help that I've got really bad self-confidence and self-esteem due to bad relationships with my family. And he's my first relationship, so I'm naturally very paranoid about it. I don't know what to do. I really want to improve our relationship and get more romance into it, because I'm scared that if it continues like that, it's going to fall apart. I want to be able to feel more confident and get more self-confidence in our relationship and just in me as a person. Hope you can help. Thank you. Bye.
Oh my God. I feel like you should start because I feel like you're gonna you should start. Mine's really
You got a lot going on over here. I saw physical recoils throughout the room. Yeah, I mean my heart is
What's your
weeping
instinct?
for you. My instinct is to say that I don't think it's an uncommon thing when you move in with someone to find that the effort for romance is dwindling, and it's that feeling of like, oh, well, I don't need to try anymore. And every relationship is work. That's first and foremost. Dating, I think there's like a myth that like love is so easy and you meet someone
once you get it,
and then you got it, and it's like all this electric nausea and it just never stops. I'm like, that's total bullshit. You have to put work into your relationship. You need to be dedicated to it. And it sounds like right now he's failing, and it's possible that you're failing on that side too. So it's just a recommitment to finding times to like. It's a recommitment to finding times to like go on dates, and just because you live together now doesn't mean that you're going to just stop doing all those things that you were doing when you were dating. Like, have a day of the week where you say like, hey, I'm going to take you out to dinner. You go home, you change, and you just spend time, just the two of you. Because I think it's really easy to fall into a pattern, and then all of a sudden, you are roommates.
Yeah. What do you think about the other girl?
The other girl?
There?
I don't feel good about it.
I don't feel good.
I definitely... You don't want to let your imagination run totally wild.
Yeah.
But like... yeah, guys suck sometimes, and like their minds wander.
Yeah.
I don't want to like. I think you guys definitely feel that some shit is going down and that she needs to watch out, but I don't want to fuel the paranoia. I think that like you need to be confident in yourself, and it shouldn't be about like I'm going to block her out or I'm going to win him back over her. I think you just need to focus on your relationship and make sure that you like make him fall in love with you every day and you fall in love with him, as opposed to focusing on like the preventative. It's not defense.
Yeah.
Play offense.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad that you're going to give that advice, because mine is so different. Which that is like a you can only see you. We've got two girls who are like, we're very like, this is like, we've had this talk so many times. Because like this, like we've been there. Like I have been this girl. And what I would say is like, there is an aspect of paranoia for sure. I would say the term, like her saying that she's like has all these like self-confidence issues and all of these things. I'm not saying that she doesn't, but I'm also saying that like her putting this like weird feeling she has about this guy, her boyfriend, and this other girl, and chalking it up to her like family issues and past relationship issues is not a conclusion she came to on her own. It is something that she was told when she made a comment about feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's gaslighting. Like, that's what that is. Like, I'm not saying you're like, I'm not. And also, I don't know any fucking guy who I've ever been gaslighted by who's been actively aware of even what gaslighting is. So I'm not saying that was his like goal going into it. And I'm also like assuming he said that. But if I have learned any fucking thing, and also I have like the craziest story to tell you later about like my friend who had a similar thing of like 4 years later of like a thing that they thought that someone told them like no, the crazy 4 years later turns out they weren't crazy. Your gut in this situation is never going to be wrong. And the condition I will give you that is if you have had a jealousy thing with him and every girl that you've ever been around,
right? Then there's something with
there's
you.
Something
but if this
with
is
you.
the one,
but if there is something specific about this that makes you uncomfortable, there's a reason. And
yeah, I think your advice is better. I just wanted to make her feel good. I just was like, what's gonna make her feel better? I don't want to.
That's good. And also, she asked like, what can I do to like help our relationship? And that's like that is the advice that you do to help your relationship. But right now I think what you need, like, it's like just look at what's in front of you. You're probably not fucking crazy. There probably is something going on. You don't do anything about the girl, because it's not like, yeah, the girl's shitty, but it's not the girl's fault. Like that girl doesn't owe her anything. Her boyfriend owes her something. That's who the commitment's with. And I think like you need to have a conversation with him and don't take. Well, do you want, when it comes to the truth, you have to figure out if you actually want to know. And sometimes you think you want to know and then you realize you don't want to know. So you need to look at the situation, realize it's a 7-bedroom house. You're in a shit situation with potentially living with your boyfriend and potentially a girl that, not saying that he's actively physically cheating on you, but might have a crush on it and have like an emotional relationship
cheating,
with.
yeah.
And the level of disrespect that happens when you're going to choose to hang out with another roommate who's also a girl over your girlfriend, that to me is just like a scummy guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like point blank. That's him. I hate this. And I've been this, so I feel so bad, which is also why I'm giving so much tough love, is I wish someone had said this to me. I've had so many friends be like, oh my God, no, you were being crazy. And then finally later they were like, oh no, you weren't being crazy at all. Is like, how he's treating you, and if like he's going to make those decisions for you, like he's choosing her right now. And at any point, if somebody in a relationship is going to choose somebody else, and then they're not going to recognize like, oh, wow, I fucked up, let me work on us, but is going to deny it. And like, that to me is something that's already lost and is already done. Like, you don't have that boyfriend anymore. And like, I will agree with you what you said about how when you move in together, you have to like have dates. Like my boyfriend and I went through that for like, a long time for us to understand. And like, people have different definitions of quality time. Whereas like for him, like he'd be cool if he came home from work and like we'd both be on our computers, like or like reading or doing
there's
something.
a healthy balance there.
Yeah. And then like for me, I'm like, well, no, I want like at least one night a week where we like go out and do something. Like you have to plan
healthy
things
balance there.
with me just like you plan things with your friends. But like because we live together, we don't have to like plan the next time we're going to see each other. And so that there is a learning curve there that I think like you can fall into that. But there's the issue here, I don't think is the quality time. I think the issue here is the quality time is being spent with another girl who's not you.
It's funny, you've totally like turned my opinion on this because at first I'm like, okay, I have a 5-step plan. We're gonna bring the romance back. We're gonna do sleepovers. We're gonna go on dates, and then we're gonna bring it up because if you bring it up now, maybe you're gonna push him away. And now I'm flipped. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this guy.
Yeah,
you're gonna go out. You're gonna get a new haircut. You're gonna get some new clothes. You're gonna show him, and then you're gonna start like talking to the other 4 roommates.
Yeah. There's something, and the last thing I will say, there's something to be said about like lying and potentially cheating and hiding something, and then there's something to be said about being potentially cheated on or whatever with somebody that you also live with. Like that, like he's not trying to hide any of this, and if he was, and if this was something that like if he was hiding it, I think it would be a better situation because like this is just zero regards for your feelings at all. And I think even if like there is nothing else there, him choosing someone over you, whether it's like even just a friendship with another girl, choosing that over you and you expressing that you want like more romance and all this stuff and it's not being met, that to me is I would want to be with someone who chose me as often as I chose them.
Right.
And I just don't think right now that's what's happening.
He can have friends, like tight homies who are girls.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But you've got to be the number one.
Well, and you just have to, and even if they want to spend, like, you have to spend time together. Like, you're saying that you're being picked second. Like, even if he's spending half his time with his friends,
you're
and
not in a
half his time
relationship
with
anymore.
you.
Then that's it's like,
and
what are you doing?
He's being a coward about it, and I think you need to
you're
have
hookup buddies.
Exactly. And you're saying you feel like you're being friend zoned, and I honestly, it sucks, and I hate this, and and if you want to DM me on Instagram and talk about it, I totally will. Like, I will fully get into it with you. But like, I'm
also interested in the follow up. So loop me into that.
You need to realize that this isn't on you and that he's done something to make you feel really insecure, and it's his job to listen to you when you say that and tell him that, and if that doesn't change, that's your answer, and it's not worth it. It's really, really not, because that'll just fuck with you more, and then you'll need more therapy. But also go to therapy. It's great. I love therapy.
See, I was a responsible 21, 22-year-old man where I knew I was trash, so I just stayed away from people. I didn't subject them to me.
Hey, I'm like, I don't do commitment. Like, I'm just like having fun.
No, I just scared people away.
Oh my God. Okay, should we go on to the next?
I'm 19 and I've been with my boyfriend for about a year and a half now. Whenever we first started dating, he was a virgin and I wasn't, but he still wanted to he didn't want to have sex, but he wanted to do other things to me. But he felt weird about me doing anything to him. And so that went on for a few months of the beginning of our relationship. And since then, we've had sex and, done other things, but now he's always ready to go because he's a 20-year-old guy, you know what I mean? And I'm not. And I feel like I was more so when we first started dating, but as our relationship has evolved and we've gotten more comfortable with each other, I don't know, I'm not always right in the mood. And the other day he told me that it sort of hurts his feelings whenever, because he will offer to do something to me if for some reason he can't. If he can't, if we've just had sex or something and this is weird. If we've just had sex and so he can't go right away and I'm still ready to go, he will offer to do something to me, but he said that it hurts his feelings that I don't offer to do anything to him if I'm not in the mood. And I sort of think that it's different because when it's me, I'm just not in the mood and I wouldn't want him to do anything to me if he wasn't. And so I guess what my question is am I am I in the wrong? Am I being a weird person for not, wanting to do something to him, even though he says that he would do the same for me? But then I feel like he's never not ready. You know what I mean? Like, he's always willing to do something. Anyways, so am I being selfish, or is he sort of not being very understanding?
I need to know, like, frequency. I don't, like, I need more specifics here of, like, how many times we talking in a week. Is this, like, once a week? Is this, like, 4 days a week? Is it every day?
Multiple times a day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 20. I mean, I think, like, what this boils down to is, like, a difference in sex drive. And we've talked about this before on the podcast of, like, I think, like, sexual compatibility is, like, a really important thing in being with someone who has, like, an understanding of your sex drive, and, like, or is that, like, on the similar, like, where you're at with it. I think he probably has a higher sex drive than you, which I mean,
20 years old?
Yeah.
He's a bunny rabbit. He's just ready to go. He's the Energizer bunny.
Yeah. And I think I am wanting to know why they didn't have sex like, I'm wondering, does he masturbate? Like,
right.
Because if they were not having sex, like, was it like an abstaining from everything kind of thing for a while? And, like, is that the only way he's getting off? Is, like, with that, like, is there any sort of, I don't know if
what's your opinion on masturbation in a relationship?
I think for sure, go for it.
Yeah.
For sure. I think if, like, I'm in the mood to have sex and, like, you're instead, like, jacking off, I'd be like, hi, hello.
I'm over here.
Exactly. But I think, like, if I'm not in the mood, or if I'm, like, you're in the fucking shower, or if I'm, like, not home, or if it's, like, not that, I think if you're choosing that over, like having sex, then I think
that's a problem.
Yeah, but, like, I don't have any sort of.
So just go tell your boyfriend to jerk off a bunch.
Yeah, but if he is, here's what I'll say. I think, like, and this might be surprising. He'll be like, "Wow, my God, I didn't think you'd say that." I don't think, like, he not to put words in his mouth, talking about things with his mouth. I don't think not that you don't have, like, the greatest vagina in the world, but, like, I don't think he is, like, just, like, craven vagina and that's why he's going down on you. It's more along the lines of, like, he likes getting you off and, like, likes that aspect. So he's not necessarily like, oh, I'm in the mood to, like, eat her out, but, like, I'm in the mood to, like, there's a confidence boost and, like, he wants to make you feel good. And so I think that he's probably not going to say that to you, where he's like, well, when I'm going down on you, it's like, if he's horny, like, maybe he's getting off by going down on you, but, like, to me, those are not necessarily, like, he totally might be, but I think, like, it's more about, like, pleasuring you and less about him. Like, I don't think he's selfishly going down on you.
Yeah, I think it's about her pleasure, because he was going down on her before they even had sex, and he wouldn't let her go down on him.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like he had some hang-ups, but I guess he's way over them now.
Yeah. But I think
know.
Like, there's like, you should never feel pressured to do, like, anything sexually that you don't want to do.
Yeah, we got it. First and foremost, there's no world in which you should feel bad for not always wanting to pleasure him. Like, that's not your exclusive job. There's also just the reality of, like, totally going back to your idea of, like, sexual compatibility. There's frequency, but there's also, like, time of day.
Yeah.
Some people are, like, morning horny. Some people are night
horny. I
horny.
with morning sex. I'm like, I need coffee.
Yeah, and,
do
like,
not fucking go on.
And I'm gonna tell you, like, I get tired at night. Like, when I'm tired, I'm like, I gotta go to bed. I'm not like, this is a stamina thing, and I don't got it.
Yeah, you're no.
I'm ready to sleep.
I am asleep. Stop.
So, like, it's something to figure out, and I was gonna say an adult relationship, but you guys are still in college. In relationships, I think you have to talk about it and figure it out, and it is possible to get into a place where you're not putting enough time for your, physical relationship, and that's an important component. But I don't think I think it's okay. You shouldn't feel pressure. That's not a good place to be.
No.
It's not going to go well now, and it's not going to go well in the long run if you feel like you're doing something out of obligation. Sex is supposed to be fun and intimate and an exchange of passion and
fluid.
And fluid.
Gross. Use a condom. I also wonder, though, is he going down on you in hopes of like do unto others as you would like done onto you?
So that was like especially in college, I didn't know a single guy who enjoyed it.
Going down on girls?
Yeah, it was like something that it's something that you develop over time as a guy. And it really, the context in which I heard about it when I was younger was either abject terror and like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. Or this is something that I'm going to do because I know that I'm going to get reimbursed for it.
Yeah, no. And that's what I wonder if he's doing.
But I don't know if he did, though, because he did it before.
I was going to say
he asked for the exchange.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, though. Maybe he was doing it before because she wasn't a virgin and he felt like he had to do it to keep her.
She wasn't a virgin.
Yeah.
He was.
And he was doing it because he felt he had to keep.
Like
that's
a
what
pressure?
he had to do to keep her.
Yeah. Well, and I think like...
What was her problem again?
I think with her, but the thing that she
because
said...
he's pressuring her.
Yeah, okay, right. He does it more, right, okay.
He goes down on her,
I lost track.
She's saying that she doesn't want him to go down on her if he's not in the mood. So I think then you have to have that conversation with him, which is like awkward and uncomfortable, sure, but if you're gonna like have someone's like penis inside you, like you have the fucking awkward conversations about it. And like say something about the like being like, I think we have different levels of sex drives, and I think that's like totally fine. And I want you to feel like if you're totally in the mood and you've come on to me and I'm not in the mood, like maybe you just ate a huge dinner and you're like, please no. Then like you're totally free pass, like feel free to masturbate, like that's totally fine and awesome. And like if you're in the mood, if you think going down on like me is like a reciprocation kind of thing, like I think we just need to be like more clear and have sex when we're both in the mood, so one of us isn't trying to get the other person in the mood when they said they're not. And so I think you just have to have that point blank conversation and then give him permission, not that he needs your permission or anything like that, to be like, if I'm not in the mood, like you feel, because maybe he doesn't feel comfortable like watching porn or masturbating because he feels like he's cheating on, like, not like, I don't know, maybe he feels like he's cheating.
Yeah, it's a weird conversation to broach.
Yeah.
And I think that's totally common, that people feel like when they're in a relationship they can't watch porn anymore, that it's like I have to save myself for you exclusively.
The porn conversations we've had from this, that's where I didn't know people had so many varying opinions.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that my girlfriend would be happy with it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, it all varies. Like, I don't give a shit, like, usually. But, like, again, like, if I'm there and, like, your choice is going to be to watch porn and not have sex with me, I'd be mad. But, like, if I'm, on the couch, like, eating tacos, being like, I don't want to have sex right now, like, I'm bleeding out of my vagina, I'd be like, go ahead, watch porn in the other room. You know?
Yeah. But I'm thinking that he probably thinks that sex is all just physical and he's not doing anything...
The emotional.
Yeah, the emotional part to lead up to it for them to have sex.
And are you finishing? Like,
I've been wondering, how good is he at what he does? Or is he just like going down there, he's like, I did it, now let's have sex. Like, nah.
Spells the ABCs. Starts humming. But yeah.
You go like,
so,
you blow on it, right?
You just tap it.
He's just biting.
Go back to our ASMR portion.
Yeah. Literally, my vagina clenched. Ow, 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 ow. You just shouldn't feel guilt tripped.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now, on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like, it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
At all. And I think the same way of you don't want to feel... now it's in her head that he feels obligated to go down on her even when he's not in the mood, which then makes you feel bad. And like, you're like, no, I don't want you to do something that you don't want to do. I don't want like this to be like a task kind of thing. But if there's something that like you have enjoyed like sexually with him more, or is your sex good? Like, is this
right?
Is like, are you not?
No, he's 20 years old. Of course it's not good.
It's very, very quick. Is it that like when you mean you're not in the mood, that there isn't a lead
that
up?
He's not getting like, you in the mood.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, if I go down, you will be.
Exactly, and that's not the
right.
Yeah. So I think like if you can like, I
think you need to specify what that is.
Yeah. I know. I think you just, the next time that you're in the mood, like take your time with it and make it into a situation, like have your dream situation of like how long you want to spend doing foreplay, all these other things, and then making it so that that is a better experience, because I think like I just think you guys are on just different
different levels. It's so hard to keep up with a guy that age that is like full of energy and raring to go.
First time
and he's like, whoa, this is great. Let's do this always. Like, because it's totally nice to do something for your partner occasionally. Like, if you don't want to do it, like that can be a good gratifying thing.
Yeah.
But you don't want to get into a pattern where you're just constantly fulfilling something out of obligation, especially if he's not bringing the goods, and which is probably not.
Yeah.
And so, it's a frank conversation talking about, how often you think an ideal number is, or frequency is rather, how things that he can do to make you feel validated and in the mood and primed. And then frankly, it's possible that sexual compatibility just isn't there, and that's something that you'll then have to figure out.
Yeah.
Like if you're at a place where you're like, I would ideally have sex once a month, and he's like 3 times a day, that's an incompatibility that's real, and that's not your fault, and that's just something that's inherent with differences between you two. But it sounds like she was into it in the beginning. Like, it's not like you shouldn't feel bad about yourself. It sounds like you enjoy sex and that you're giving it to him plenty.
Yeah.
And it's just he has unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, but probably in the beginning, it was probably whenever she was ready.
Yes.
Yeah, so now it's not that. Yeah. And I think like my overall advice would be like, in general, like as a takeaway for everybody, like you should... sexual things or anything regarding that, you should never be doing anything in wanting it in return. Like, that shouldn't be it. Like, if you want to go down on your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whatever, that should not be because you want them to reciprocate the favor. Like, that should be like, if he's going down on you, like, it should be because like he wants to. And
dating
if you want to give
if
you want to give a random fucking blowjob, it's because like you want to, not because you've been asked to or you feel like you should. Like,
right.
You're going to resent them and you're going to feel uncomfortable if it's not your idea.
And you're going to resent that dick.
Exactly. Don't resent that dick. And I think like that's...
I want a t-shirt.
It's going to make you feel like... It makes you feel gross too, because it makes you feel like someone's doing something to you that they don't necessarily want.
It should make him feel gross. Like, it's not fun to get... Like, and
like, do you want like a pity blowjob? Like, is that what he wants?
No.
Like, he wants... And like, that's not what a relationship is, being like, hey, I'm horny, like, suck my dick. Like, that's not how that works. You should never feel obligated either way. And if you feel, but you both have sexual needs, like you shouldn't feel obligated to do something like this. But in order to not feel obligated, you have to have that conversation about what you guys need. And if you guys can't meet each other's needs,
then you're not right for each other.
Then you're not right. And then that's also very much okay. Like I wouldn't date a guy who's like, oh, by the way, like I think you're great and awesome, but like I don't go down on girls. And I'd be like, that's awesome. That's so much.
I don't do you.
Thank you so much for like, I'm so glad to meet you. Like, we're not going to hang out with you again.
Yeah.
Like,
look, sex conversations are totally like still taboo, but this is a big part of sharing your life with someone, is meeting on that level. It's a totally important part of your relationship, but you have to agree and meet each other at the same place. So find out if you guys are right for each other.
Yeah. Well, best of luck. Use protection. Don't get pregnant.
Don't get pregnant.
No, don't do it. Okay, guys, it's time for a quick break and we will be right back.
See you soon.
So soon. I'm sorry I'm talking so much.
This year, make health and wellness a top priority with the help of Care Of's monthly subscription vitamin service. Simply answer a few questions about your diet, your health goals, and lifestyle choices via Care Of's fun online quiz. And you'll get personal, scientifically backed vitamin and supplement recommendations in only 5 minutes. Then, each and every month, Care Of delivers them right to your door in a customized daily pack. Great for a lifestyle of on the go. There are even vegan and vegetarian supplement options available to match your dietary needs. Guys, I'm obsessed with Care Of. First off, it has my name on it. Like when I open it, it's like, hey, Megan, like here are your vitamins. I mean, it doesn't say it out loud. It's not like that'd be really creepy. But like my name is literally printed on it, which first of all, also, if you have like a name that's not common, like my age, like I could never get like keychains. Like this feels great. Like this feels like personal validation. I'm a huge fan. The quiz was really, really, really interesting. I even like read about every supplement post, like taking the quiz and saying that, but it was awesome. It actually like made me answer questions about like digestive, like sleep and all of these things that I wasn't necessarily like thinking about, of being like, oh yeah, no, that's true. I don't really sleep that much. And oh yes, I do feel kind of gross after this, and this kind of thing. And so I really like them. I'm a huge fan. I've been, gosh, I mean, I've had them for quite some time now, part of my routine. And I just am a huge fan of vitamins. So take advantage of this month's special New Year's offer. For 50% off your first month of personalized Care Of vitamins, go to takecareof.com and enter promo code BLAME50. That's takecareof.com and code BLAME50 for 50% off your very first month. Own iconic luxury items at unreal values with The RealReal, the leading reseller of authenticated.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Luxury from top designers. Shop from designers like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Rolex, Cartier, and hundreds more, up to 90% off retail. New arrivals come in daily, and every single item is authenticated by The RealReal's team of experts. In fact, The RealReal employs over 100 brand authenticators, gemologists, horologists, and art curators from around the globe who inspect thousands of items each day to ensure that every item is 100% authentic. Shop and consign women and men's luxury fashion, as well as fine jewelry, watches, art, and home. Shop online or visit one of their stores in Soho or West Hollywood, or visit one of their luxury consignment offices in Chicago, Dallas, Miami, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. New customers receive an automatic $25 off at checkout. Guys, I've talked about The RealReal before. It's one of my favorite places to like window shopping, like that idea, but like this is like window shopping without leaving my couch. And it's also like a kind of window shopping that I'm like, I could afford this. This is something that I could definitely pay like this kind of price for, and it's not crazy. I've also been recently loving like looking at like, like the really old like Louis Vuittons, like in the era of like, like low-rise jean celebrities. Those have been really fun to look at for me. I think they're really cool. And I also like love when they've got like very vintage things. So whether you're like looking for something that is just gently used and it's going to be a little more affordable than buying it straight out from the store, or things that were limited edition and special or vintage, I think they're really, really, really great. So shop in-store, online, or download the app and get 20% off select items with promo code REAL. That's therealreal.com, promo code REAL for 20% off select items. Guys, we're back from our break.
We're back.
And we're going to hop into more calls.
So I'm 17 years old, I'm from Germany, and I'm doing an exchange year in Mexico right now. So I left my boyfriend back in Germany, and I've been here since 4 months now, and I honestly just realized that I don't depend on my boyfriend as much as I always thought I did. And honestly, I'm just not in love with him anymore. So the problem is, he told me a month ago that he's gonna come here and stay for the last 5 months and do an exchange semester. By the time he told me, he had already paid everything. He had his host family, his school placing, and basically for him there's no turning back anymore. And if he would decide to stay in Germany, he would lose all of the money. So my question basically is, do I break up with him before he comes here? Do I not break up with him at all, even though that's just too unfair? That's just lying to him all the time. Or do I wait till he gets here and then break up with him here? All of the options to me feel very unfair, and I already feel so bad right now for lying to him that I'm still in love with him. Yeah, I just don't really know what to do, and I'm hoping you could give me some advice.
The advice is that you made Megan squirm out of her chair and slink to the ground.
I feel so bad for her. Like, I feel bad for him, of course, but like being like, okay, this may be not what you want to hear, but sometimes when like my life's sucky, I love when people are like, wow, that really fucking sucks. Like, let me just tell you, like,
the acknowledgement
that,
of like,
yes,
hey, you know how that thing that you think is really shitty?
Dude,
yeah, it's shitty.
It is like, I'm
it's
fully
shitty.
validating. Like, I like don't want to be you right now. Like, just know, like, this is like, I'm really sorry. This fucking sucks, which might not make you feel better, but sometimes it makes me feel better.
What an uncomfortable situation.
Holy fucking shit.
And you know, I'm just gonna jump ahead and say, rude of him to book that trip without asking you. Super presumptuous. Also, 5 months.
That's a lot.
What the fuck? Was he gonna stay with you for 5 months? Where's he living? That's fucked up.
I kind of think it's kind of one of those things like with pyramid schemes where if you're stupid enough to buy into it, like I kind of am like, well, you did this to yourself. If you're going to get a non-refundable fucking ticket and all of this stuff, like part of me is like, well, shit, like you should be out of that money because that was a really presumptuous decision. I also want to say maybe there was some conversations that you felt okay, like you didn't know he was necessarily being really serious about, or maybe he read too much into stuff. So there might have been a part in like which you feel guilty for kind of like maybe not shutting him down, maybe not encouraging and saying that you really want him to, but not shutting him down when he said he was going to do this stuff, which I think is fair because like when you like decide you don't love somebody anymore, oh my God, it's the most, oh my God. And I'm a ghoster, a serial ghoster.
Yeah, I'm ashamed to say, well, I've been ghosted on and I've done it myself and neither is fun.
No.
You're amongst friends.
You are. We are big ghosters and we got shit from people saying that.
I've only broken up with someone once, but also I've like barely had any relationship. So I don't know why I'm on this podcast. I have no advice to draw from. But it was the most uncomfortable thing I ever did. But I was like, I have to do this. I can tell you like me and I don't feel the same.
That's great. Because I would just ghost.
But then I did it before a shift, like one of her shifts, like she was going to work and like we met up and like, I don't know why I'm telling this story. Why am I putting myself out there like that? But it was like, and then I had to think of like, do I ruin your day by telling you now? But I realized like, no, I have to rip this Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
I'm not going to continue to lead you on. There's never a good time for that conversation.
Yeah. I think like you just right now, like just need to fit, like it's the lesser of the evils. Like it's all shitty. Like it's all going to be shitty for him. He's going to be mad at any of them. I think if we're going to rank them, I think the worst thing you can do is break up with him in where you are.
Yes. Do not let him come.
Don't let him get on the plane.
Don't let him get on the plane. You know what sucks? Blowing a couple $100 or $1,000. Okay, well, what sucks? Wasting a couple $1,000. You know what's worse? Flying to Mexico, getting dumped, and having nothing to do for 5 fucking months. That is awful.
You're going to be in school.
Oh God,
I kind of miss that. Is he going to be studying there?
But are they going to be in the same? If they're coming from the same school previously, they're probably going to end up being in the same study abroad. Like,
you know what though? Hold on. Maybe let's let him go to Mexico.
Liz McGuire life.
Lizzie McGuire. I was going to go like an Eat, Pray, Love.
Paolo.
Find a Paolo. Discover yourself. Where in Mexico are you? Mexico City? There's a lot to do there. It's a big city.
I love Mexico City.
You guys can avoid each other. I mean, you know what? I'm going to say
no.
Let him go.
You guys, fuck this.
No.
Here's what I'll say. Okay, and I think I love the Lizzie McGuire life, but I think which like speaks to me. I think you just have to let him make that decision. So if you break up with him beforehand, he might still want to go.
Yes, and that's okay.
Because it's not refundable.
You need to be okay with that because there's no good solution here. And like the little bit of discomfort, not the little bit, the discomfort that it's going to give you to be in the same city as him, like I think we need to be sensitive here that there's a lot on both sides.
Yeah.
But don't let him get on the plane assuming that he's going to live this fairy tale with you. I would say like FaceTime
immediately.
Don't call
right now.
FaceTime face to face and have this hard conversation now. It's gonna break his heart probably. Oh shit! There's no.
His heart's gonna get broken.
But either way, it's gonna happen, and it's okay. Like we need to tell you, it's okay to feel this way. You're 17. Not every relationship is gonna last. This is unfortunately something that may happen a couple times in your life, and the people who are older are going to tell you that we still haven't really figured out how to dump people.
No, not at all. And also, like, he's allowed to be mad at you too, which
for
like
sure.
You need to be okay with like all of that. And like yes, it could in any other way. It could have been like, oh, if he didn't spend this money and you had figured it out. But the thing is like you had to go, I'm not like a destiny believer, but like you had to go on this trip to figure out that you don't have feelings for him anymore. So like this isn't like, this is when you figured this out. And like, sure, could you have maybe said something sooner? Yes. But also like you didn't want to feel that. Like you don't really want to fall out of love with someone. So you're like holding back and not saying anything and having him like make all these plans. Like in your mind, I'm assuming it was probably like you wanted that. Like, yeah, I really want you to come and I want you to want you to come, and you're kind of hoping that it's just like a phase and you realize it's not, and then you have to tell him. And I think you just need to be really like just honest with him, and then also just like before he even can like say anything, just apologize and be like so aware, like I'm so sorry of the situation that this puts you in. Like I'm so aware, like I know I played a part in this, and I really should have done this, and I shouldn't have let it go on this. I should have stopped you when you were talking about coming, but like I really thought that this was like something I was gonna get, like this was just a phase for me. Like I thought I was gonna be over this, and it was just like me in my head. But like as the days get closer to you coming, like it like is killing me thinking that you're gonna get on this plane, and I don't want to ruin your trip, and I don't want any of that stuff to like
flight.
It is. Yeah. And like, I need to say this because like, I've already like, you feel like you've been like not saying something enough that it's going to hurt him. The quicker you do it, the fucking better.
I want to highlight though, my favorite thing that you said, not you, our caller.
Okay. Whatever.
Everything you said was wonderful. You said that you realized that you're not defined by him anymore.
It doesn't.
She wasn't relying.
Wasn't relying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Especially if you're someone who's been in a lot of relationships like throughout your adolescence, and maybe you're someone who's been like a date, a serial dater. It is wonderful to find that space, especially in this time of your life, to be defined by yourself. On yourself, and not through who you are in a relationship. It's a totally huge and important step that I am all for. I think that being single is one of the best and most formative times in your life. You need to figure out who you are just by yourself, and not in the context of being defined by your relationships or how others make you feel. Like, savor this time, especially abroad in what I assume is a wonderful city. Like, grow, find yourself, find things that you like, be self-defined. Fucking awesome.
Well, I think it's also just like so impressive because that'd be the complete opposite for me. Like I wouldn't call myself like defined by like my friends and my relationships, but like when I'm out of my element is when I feel the most like me, when I'm surrounded by people that I know. So like the fact that she can identify this like sense of independence in a city like that, this is new. Like this is like such like a fuck yeah. This is like the moment in the movie where like a great Blink-182 song comes on, and you're like, I'm living my best life.
Great Blink-182.
Yes, from 2000. I'm sorry. Yeah, every movie from 2000.
So you would have went to Firefest.
No, were they supposed to go?
Yeah, they were the ones that canceled.
No, but I'm saying old. I'm saying like old.
I
Like,
thought you were gonna hit me with a hey now. This is what dreams are made of.
I thought you meant You're an All-Star, which is Smash Mouth's my favorite song.
No, I'm Lizzie McGuire.
Hey now. But yeah, so I think like it sucks no matter what. And I think you need to, there's a level of being aware of the role that you played in this hurt, and how there are things you could have done to prevent it going this far and hurting this much financially, but
still he did this without asking
exactly
her.
that's what I'm gonna say. It's like you have to know that there's like just recognize that, but then know that that's not all on you, because you would have figured this out and you would have broken. And I've had friends who did this where they went abroad and realized that they're like, oh, I don't want to be in a relationship anymore, but they don't have to do anything about it until they get back. And he took that choice away from you. So like both of you are guilty in this. And also he did things that is now putting you in a position where you have to make this difficult, like start this difficult conversation, but you didn't ask him to spend all this money. So that guilt, know that that's not on you. Like, at all.
I don't have much experience here, but with breaking up, I think it's important to accept a level of responsibility and own up to it, and that's okay. But also, it's not exclusively your fault. Of course it isn't. And frankly, I think it'll be helpful for this young man. I've been calling him Heinrich in my head. Heinrich needs to know. He needs to hear that what he did wasn't okay and why. Help him, as your parting gift, help him not do this again to someone else.
Oh, he's going to feel like a fucking idiot though.
Yeah.
And like that's going to be the biggest lesson for him of being like, wow, should not have been this kind of presumptuous. And we do stupid shit when we're 17.
But you know what? Years from now, you'll both look back and laugh.
Yeah. And I really want her to have her Paolo moment. Like, you know? Like, I want everyone to have their Paolo moment.
You still want him to come to Mexico, though?
I do.
Yeah.
I still kind of want him to, too. But on his own, I want him to
they
choose
can have
to.
their own separate.
I think so. And maybe, you know what? Maybe they'll fall in love again under the stars. And it'll be like they need to go apart to come back together. Who knows?
So poetic.
That's how I would write this story.
Yeah. Are you a hopeless romantic? What's your star sign? Astrological sign?
Leo.
Are you? When's your birthday?
July 26th.
Okay, I'm a Leo, too. My birthday's August 4th.
I am not super into astrology, but I think my moon is also Leo.
Oh, wow.
I'm a Leo.
Okay. Attention.
Yeah.
You love attention.
I love the sound of my own voice.
Yeah. I have a
great.
podcast.
I love the best part about having a podcast is that you have headphones on and you can hear yourself talk. And it's like, wow, I sound really good right now.
Mm-hmm. It's the best. Next one. On to the next.
I'm 22 years old and a recent college graduate. In August, I went through a very toxic breakup with my ex of 2.5 years. It was very serious. Like, there was a promise ring involved. But, looking back on it, he was very manipulative and verbally and mentally abusive. And actually, the way he broke up with me was telling me that I was physically and mentally unattractive, that I don't follow through with my goals, and that I don't have my priorities straight, and that he's ashamed of me. Anyway, flash forward 4 months to now, and, I'm starting to get over him, starting to, try to start getting over, all the damage that he's done to my brain by all the manipulation and gaslighting. And my mom finds a note in our mailbox written by him, and the note contained $50 in total, $25 in hard cold cash, and $25 in a Target gift card, and 3 notes, one of which was dated for New Year's Eve, but I opened it anyway because he doesn't rule my life anymore. It was like how he had found a note by me that was written in 2016, and the gift card was established in 2016, and he thought it was a sign, and that he gave me all these song recommendations, but they were all love songs, and I'm sure it's all about what he's thinking about me, and I listened to them. They were all literally love songs, and I don't know what to do at this point. I mean, thanks for the cash, but he's coming up to my house uninvited. This is exactly what happened when we broke up. He would come to my house at 10 p.m. at night trying to talk to me. He would leave junk voicemails, and my cousin had to tell him to get lost or I'll call the police. And then he said he would leave me alone, but 4 months later he hasn't left me alone, and I don't know what to do anymore, because it's as soon as I start to get over him, he comes back. And I don't know if this is a restraining order situation. I don't know if I should just contact
contact him one more time and be like, don't talk to me, don't show up at my house anymore, I don't know what to do. And your advice would be really great.
This dude is
He
so
sucks.
lame.
He
He's so
sucks.
lame.
As the great philosopher Jojo once said, it's just too little too late.
I was going to say, get out right now.
Right now is the end of you and me.
She's got a lot of advice.
She's got a lot.
Of advice
She's
to
been
share.
a philosopher for a long time.
Return the fucking money.
No,
don't.
No.
Because that's giving him too much.
Do not do anything. It's as if you never saw any of it.
Yeah, okay, that was going to be my next word. So, okay, I'm halfway
Nothing.
correct.
That you don't contact someone to
Ignore.
tell them to stop contacting you.
Nope.
If someone's pulling out all the fucking stops, it doesn't matter what you say. They're just going to be like, they're talking to me. This is my in. Like, you need to just shut the fucking door. Like, there is nothing. Like, I have cut people out of my life. Like, and they're... No matter what, like, people will try and get back into your life for any sort of reason. And it is not, I've literally had like people like send same thing, sent money, sent things.
Have you had guys do this to you, like romantic?
I had
or friends?
one ex do this to me. I had one ex do this to me, but then he got a new girlfriend who he seems very happy with, and I haven't heard from him in a long time. But it was the same
Guys
thing.
are fucking nuts, huh?
Well, he was fucking
My
nuts.
God.
But yeah, no. So there's a level of like when somebody is so detached, like as you're obviously we're in the situation, and so this like just knowing like based on if you're listening to the episode, make sure you watch it to see our reactions. Like these are people who we don't know you guys, and we're saying that this is fucking crazy and like he's being insane. So just know that like just point blank he's being like fucking weird and crazy. So when somebody is doing those things and pulling out these stops and just like being ridiculous to get your attention, it doesn't matter what attention you're giving them, even if they're not listening to what you're saying. If you say, don't ever speak to me again, they're like,
I have a chance.
All they're seeing is you speaking to them and the contacting. So
if you give an inch, she's going to take a mile. Just cut and run.
That's how it'll
here.
happen. Like in breakups, it's been like I had an ex who was like showing up at my place all the time, all of these things. And so I like when I had told like my I was living in like a gated building thing, and I had told him, I was like, this is a picture of my ex-boyfriend. We are no longer dating. Like you need to not like they can't be let in. Like they don't have any of this clearance or any of those things. And then I would also say you need to talk to your friends about it and your family and be like, if you find a note, don't tell me. If you see this, throw this away. Because that's the other issue is like you shouldn't, you need to block numbers. Like that's the same kind of thing. Like I don't feel any sort of guilt to like the people that I have like cut out of my life because like their numbers are blocked. Like I don't see
blocking.
that.
Like don't have like don't be able to like go check in on him on
Instagram.
Yeah. Like every single platform possible. He don't exist anymore.
And like and everybody needs to support that and like your family, like all of those things. And so 4 months I would say is not a super long time. My ex, when we broke up, I got a message, like I literally it was like out of a fucking movie. I got a text from him and I walked into like, you know how in like movies they have like just like in the grocery store they have like stacks of food in a way that you would never like actually do that. They had it at Ralph's, a stack of butter. I walked into a stack of butter, like a fucking full pyramid.
You knocked down the pyramid?
I knocked down the pyramid because I got the
Wow.
text message and I was like, I hate my life. I was like, this is so cliche. But I got a text like a year after.
I think you need to hear it gets butter.
It gets butter. So I would give it that time. And for the people that I've like cut out of my life, the frequency of trying to contact me it dwindles over time. Like when you don't give them any sort of you don't acknowledge them at all, it slows down. It might not stop for a long time. But the more that you don't engage at all, the more that you're going to be able to heal and get over and move on. But when you let somebody who's like talk to you in a really toxic and manipulative way, even if you come back at that knowing that and you say like, no, I'm not listening to this, I'm not handling it, you're just going to be taken right back to when you did do that. Like your interactions with them, like it's going to give you a pit in your stomach and it's going to remind you of all those things and it's not helping you grow. And I have struggled with that too, of being like, well, I want to be like, I'm like a strong person who like is not going to like let these, like how this person like emotionally abused me, like define me.
It'll be different this time.
Yeah. Or even just being like, I want to tell this person off. Like, it's not about them. And like that sense of like confidence and strength comes from like how you live the rest of your life. You don't need to teach that person a lesson or anything like that. Like, that's not on you. And that's not, you're not going to ever get that satisfaction from it. Like, you can
There's no happy ending with you engaging him. It sounds like you're healing, and that's awesome. We're proud of you, but he's not your responsibility. He is, you know, he's got problems, and it's not your fault. It's not your job to fix him.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't deserve the way he treats you. Just cut it. Let him figure his shit out. Move on.
Yeah. And if you're worried about like your physical well-being or anything that he might do, and like you're afraid of any of that, which you should totally listen to your gut instinct with that. I don't know what state you're in, but in California, for restraining orders, if someone's on your property and won't leave, and basically being on your property is like or has threatened you, like has threatened to do something, or is on your physical property and won't leave, you can call the police. And even if that person leaves by the time that the police get there, you have it on record that the cops have been called for that. So then if they come back a second time, or like an event similar happens a second time on your property, there already is a record. And in California, you need to on like a record twice, or one or two times before you can like go through with a restraining order. So just know that like,
those tools are at your disposal if you need them.
And there's a peace of mind that, like, at least for me, like there's a peace of mind that kind of comes with it, of being like, if you get like the law involved too, it also holds you accountable to be like, I'm not going to let this person in my life, because I, like, the really smart, like grown up adult side of my brain did this thing where I called the police because I knew this was a bad situation.
You know how you feel right now. You know how you feel when you call the cops. You know, you reached out to us, like, you already know the answer here. Yeah. And so maybe you're just looking for someone to like hold you to it. So we're going to hold you to it.
Yeah. And it's about you moving on and you healing. And it's not about telling him to stop contacting you, because he's just going to, it'll happen eventually, but it's going to have nothing to do with you saying, stop contacting me.
Do you find you do that when you have things that you like, you know, you have to change or do? I just tell everyone in my life. I just tell everyone like, oh yeah, I'm going to start going to the gym 3 times a week. And now it's like, the more people I tell, the more it's like, oh shit, I really got to do that thing.
No, I have friends who will do the opposite though, where like if they like don't want me to tell them the truth about something, so they won't like ask my advice or tell me anything. And then they'll be like, I have to tell you this crazy thing that happened. Like, my life went to shit for 3 months. I'm like, why didn't you tell me any of this? Like, well, I knew I was making all the wrong decisions, and I knew you would tell me that I was, so I didn't tell you. And I was like, okay, cool. Or like, I didn't break up with that guy you told me to, and like, you're right, it did suck. And I was like, okay, cool. Good job, guys. Okay. Well, best of luck.
Best of luck.
Next one.
It's time for listeners' advice.
Listeners' advice. Did you also see people's suggestions?
Yeah, I kind of liked like "Don't blame you."
Oh wait, fuck. What were they called?
Is this where they reflect on all the advice we've been giving, and they give
their own advice
where our life needs to change?
Oh my God.
Advice to us?
God, no, I don't need that. I don't need that.
No, it's when listeners call in with advice for other callers that we've had already on the show.
I'm trying to remember what they fucking suggested we call it. Yeah. They're killing me, right? All of them are killing me. Yeah. Being, man, we commented it so many times. Okay, well, I'll remember it eventually.
Is it Don't Blame Us?
That was one of them. So this is from the episode with Lindsay from Almost 30, and this is the girl that had was inspired to drop out of school because Megan had, and we had told her to try out community college.
You're an inspiration.
Well, it's terrible. That's like the worst part.
Hi, Megan. I am 23 years old, and I am just going to leave some follow-up advice on the episode with Lindsay discussing the girl who had dropped out of college. I think what you guys said about going to community college was wonderful advice. So I actually graduated high school a year early, was kind of thrown into, do I want to take a gap year to figure out what I want to do, or should I go right into college? What was the best choice for me? I had some family issues going on at the time, so I decided to go to community college. I thought I wanted to be a teacher, so I decided to work at a daycare at the same time. I took classes part-time, went to work full-time, and it really helped me figure out that that's not what I wanted to do. I spent less than $10,000 on my first 2 years of school. It ended up giving me scholarships to pay for school, and I had more than half of my tuition paid just from going to community college for 2 years and really trying my hand at what I want to do. I ended up going to business school. I'm going back to get an MBA shortly. I ended up in a leadership role at the company that I work at now. So great advice. I would suggest really just trying a million different things. I wanted to be a lawyer, ended up working at a law firm, didn't want to do that anymore. So just making sure that you attempt everything once. College is expensive. You don't want to go for something that you're not going to end up using.
Oh my God, wow. She is the host for dropping out, not me.
Yeah.
I would like to reappoint her to be the one that everyone asks for advice about dropping out. Wow, that's like hella impressive and like a really good PSA for like all, like she should be the commercial for community colleges.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just was.
That's like great.
That was great. I want to go to community college.
Dude, same. I want that kind of drive. Like that's like impressive.
Very impressive.
That's incredibly impressive. So
I'm
go
so,
community college.
I'm so glad that I'm here listening to others as opposed to the calls that are going to reflect on this episode and be like, yo, that Zach guy was a fucking idiot. You know what he was talking about.
There are some where I've gotten some from mostly. Well, I'll call him out. Melvin got so much heat for his episode. So I don't think anyone's ever even gotten close.
Cool,
I don't think so either. Well, yeah.
I'll add to that community college thing. Like, a ton of my friends from my friend group at college were mismatched for either our college or their major. And so many of them changed and are so much better, so much happier for it. I have 2 friends who took a full year off and they're doing unbelievable now. And I think had they just like persevered, pushed through, stayed the course that was clearly not right for them, not making them happy, they would be in much worse situations now.
Yeah, I think I'm not a huge fan of like the whole like throw into the swimming pool and then like if you can't swim, like it's fine, like you'll just float to the top once you drown. Like I don't really love that whole thing, and it's also like a very expensive way to drown. So I'm a huge proponent of like just finding what you want to do, but like not everything's fun all the time, and like knowing that like you're gonna have to do stuff that like isn't necessarily fun, but like you shouldn't. I don't know, like your mental health shouldn't like be sacrificed and all those other things.
There's a difference between hard work and being mismatched.
Yeah.
Like I also know someone who has so much anxiety just at the idea of school, and then she was top 10 of her class, and it's like, no, you're doing good. You just need to find coping mechanisms and some release. There are others, my aforementioned friends, who like, this is not right for you. Let's change the major. Let's figure it out. Find yourself. Yeah. And clearly the caller is case study of why that can be really great.
Oh my God. Go you guys.
Go
I'm so impressive.
You.
It's almost inspiring me to go back to school.
Oh, maybe the section
you can take classes online.
Can the segment be called Can't Blame Ya?
Can't Blame Ya.
That's cool too.
That's good too.
Yeah.
Well, that is our episode. Zach, thanks so much for being on. You gave great advice.
Thanks for having me.
And you weren't problematic at all. This is great.
I'm relieved to hear.
And now you have to force the other Try Guys to come on.
Yeah, I know that I'm here as a way to get the other two.
No, you do realize you and Ned have shot to the top of our favorite Try Guys because you're the two who've come to this.
This was really fun. No, I had a great time.
You give great advice. I'm sorry you had to listen to so many like young girls talk about sex. It's fine. It's all fine.
I was gonna say like my pleasure, but there's no good way.
I just not. Please don't.
I heard
almost
myself
everyone
say it. I'm
was
like, no.
over 18.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
okay.
Yeah, we try.
Yeah.
So where can people stalk you on the internet?
They can stalk me. You can. So actually, if you pay some money, you can go into the white pages and find out where people live.
That's Melissa and I do for everything. We do it all the time.
You can follow me at Korndiddy, a joke that just stayed with me, and that's my username forever. Or follow us on the Try Guys, youtube.com/Try Guys.
Yeah. And if you guys want to be on an upcoming episode, if something's happening in your life and you need some advice, give us a call at 310-694-0976. International listeners, email us an audio file at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. You can stalk Melissa and I through the links in the description as well. And if you want to find out where else you can listen and or watch Don't Blame Me, this podcast, you can go to don'tblameme.show. We're on YouTube. We're on Stitcher Premium, where you can listen to bonus episodes. It's pretty exciting. Okay, guys, see you next week. Goodbye.
I won't be here.
Don't Blame Me is a production by me. Executive produced by Melissa DeMonts. Camera operator Amanda Lechner. Production assistance by Julie Carley, and music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Lauro, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth.
Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural then and now.